Out of nowhere, SNK released the Neo Geo Pocket Color Classic, SNK vs Capcom Card Fighters Clash, as a Switch-only digital release. The game was one of the biggest absentees on the recently released Neo Geo Pocket Collection. I had a feeling that this game would be either paid DLC for the collection, but instead SNK opted to release the game as a separate release. It does make a bit of sense. The game is regarded as one of the most critically acclaimed releases of the tiny machine, with a bit of a cult following. For people who haven't played the original, Card Fighters Clash is a digital collectible card game featuring characters from the SNK and Capcom universe. There are 300 cards in total to collect, 150 on each side. The original game was released in two separate SNK and Capcom versions. You can collect the opposing company's cards in the game, but there are some exclusives on both versions. This emulated version contains both versions and lets you pick the version you want to play at the beginning of the game. The games are exactly the same, but the starter deck is obviously either SNK or Capcom related cards. The card game itself is pretty rudimentary at first glance. The player has to deal with two basic stats: BP or battle power, which is the card's health and attack power at the same time, and SP, which is the number of SP points the card adds to the total SP points when you add it to the ring. In an attack or counter confrontation, the card with the highest BP wins. The BP of the opposing card will be subtracted from the winning card. If an attack card is not countered, the remaining BP will be subtracted from the player's HP. A game is decided by the player depleting the opposing player's HP. Reading the tutorial and play 2 games and you will be like a fish in water. It's pretty simple. The depth in Card Fighters Clash comes from the character abilities and the AC cards. Here is where the game goes mildly deep. There are many different abilities, and that's what makes battling in this game so much fun. The game challenges you to balance your deck in such manner that it can generate enough BP and SP points and abilities to punch a hole in the defenses of the more challenging opponents. You need a bit of grinding and use those trading options that the game offers to get you those A and S class cards that you need to battle the opponents in the final tournament. There are a couple of different locations you can visit in this game. At these different locations you can win coins you need to enter the final tournament. These locations are amusement parks, arcades and toy stores where you can run into NPCs you can talk to and battle with. And you can use trading machines and shops to further improve your deck. There are enough NPCs to interact with in these locations, but most of these interactions are either battle tips or pre-battle trash talk. Per location there are about 3 or 4 characters that you can seduce into a card battle. And somewhere in the back of that area is a gym leader, in quotes, which only wants to fight you when you beat all the other characters first. Beating one player, a rando or a gym leader, rewards you with cards you can use to build up your collection and improve your deck. Beating the gym leader also rewards you with one of those 5 coins you need to enter the end tournament. I hear you thinking this sounds an awful lot like Pokemon or its equivalent Game Boy Color card battle game. And in its approach and structure it's quite similar. The game world does a nice job in bringing everything nicely together without being overly complex. In general, it is a nice place to walk around in and interact with. The randomness of the cards that you are dealt requires you to up your game to deal with weak hands, like only filler cards or too much ability cards or no ability cards at all. It makes every game unique and satisfying and never gets too frustrating. The best games are those where you have been dealt a weak hand and you have to fend off other players' 1000 BP cards, sacrificing your own ability cards to stay alive, to eventually come back when you plow through your deck and get those better cards. It is Rocky style fist pumpingly satisfying at times. The emulation is solid, as with all the Neo Geo Pocket Color games that are released on the Switch. The display filters are limited but sufficient, and the user interface is really easy to toggle with the minus button. Visually, the game looks adequate without being anything special. It are the card designs that really shine here. Almost all of them are beautifully designed with incredible use of color within the limited 8-bit range of the Neo Geo Pocket Color. To conclude, it may feel a little bit like a Pokemon Light game without the story and RPG elements, but the core gameplay is excellent and without a doubt one of the strongest packages on the Neo Geo Pocket Color. The deceptively simple look and battle system keeps you want to come back for more. The coins and tournament keep the sense of progression going, and maybe more experienced card game players are looking for a more intricate battle system. But for newbies and casuals, this could be their gateway drug, either Neo Geo Pocket Color's library or card games in general. All I can say is, I don't see a better way to spend €8 in the eShop at the moment. This game is absolutely worth it in threefold. I'll promise you, you'll be fist pumping along your journey more than once.